Hey guys, my name is Savannah and I am a 3D motion designer and illustrator, and I'm currently trying to get my first picture book deal with a publisher. So I was gonna wait to make this video until I had completely finished sending out my entire list that I put together. I have a video going over like my strategy on how I get publishers to notice my work and potentially hire me. If you want to watch it, I'll link it. But anyway, I had about 200 art directors and agents, mostly art directors, that I have been sending out my portfolio to over the last 3 months. And like I said, I was gonna wait until I did all of them, but I figured it would be good to update you guys halfway through. So I've sent about 100 emails exactly and just talk you through how that's been going and what the results are. So originally I thought it was gonna take me like a month to send out 200 emails, but that is not the case because I've had a lot of things come up in my personal and work life that have made it unreasonable for me to constantly be sending out emails in all of my free time. I think I would get really burnt out and unhappy, and this is currently a side thing. I have a full-time job, so I don't need income from it. I just want it to happen, so that's why I haven't completed the list. And if I was desperate, maybe I would have by now, but just to give you some reference, I'm not like killing myself to send out these emails. Like I said, I've sent out my portfolio about 100 times, and I've gotten responses from several of the big 5 publishers. So if you don't know, the big 5 are basically the most prestigious or profitable publishing houses in the US. Yeah, in the US. So out of the big 5, I've gotten contacted or responses from Penguin Random House, which I'm very excited about, and Macmillan. I've gotten 5 responses directly back from art directors, and while that may seem like a very low number, that's 5 people at 5 different publishers that could potentially contact me in the next 12 months. Just from the research that I've done, most illustrators can handle 2 to 4 picture books a year, and I think that's them doing it full-time. I work full-time, so I think I could handle 1 or 2 max. So if all 5 came back to me in the next 12 months, that would be insane. So anyway, that's just people that have had the time or like my work enough to respond back to my email. But I took a look at my website analytics, and it has, the number of people visiting my website has shot up in the last 3 months. And luckily, Squarespace categorizes where your traffic is coming from in very convenient categories. So I'm gonna post a picture of my analytics on the screen, but basically separate out YouTube and Instagram and then traffic from clicking on a direct link. So that's like me linking my website somewhere. So that's really convenient because in my emails, I put a hyperlink. So that would logically mean most of that traffic is coming from my emails going out. And you can see the spikes on days that I sent out a ton of emails, and that's a lot. So a ton of people are looking at my work, and there is no way to know, like, hey, they might look at it and be like, no, I would never hire. Or they might be like, I have no time. I like her work. I'm gonna save it and catalog it for later, but I don't have time to respond to her because so many people reach out, whatever. So there's no way for me to know that, so the only thing I can do is keep sending out emails. Some of the other publishers I've heard from are Scholastic, Little Tiger, and Bloomsbury. So 2 of those are in the UK, which I thought is surprising that they would even consider me because I live in the US and I'm American, and I don't know, I'm still not totally sure how the whole UK versus US, like how that would even work. But anyway, still very exciting. So I'm not gonna put direct emails I got on the screen, but just to give you an example of what a response looks like, and they all kind of follow this general theme. They said, "Hi Savannah, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for reaching out. Your work is absolutely adorable. I especially love the way you handled animals. I could definitely see your style working for a younger middle grade audience. I'll keep you in mind for future projects." So that's amazing. She pointed out what's good about my portfolio, said what audience I might be good for, and she's gonna save it for later. And pretty much all of the art director emails followed that same template. Some people even said they would share my work with their colleagues or followed me on Instagram, which is just amazing because I've never gotten that kind of response before. Before I just flat out got rejected, so this is great. From here, what I'm going to do is make sure that I save the art directors' emails that responded to me and make sure I follow up with them in 3 to 6 months. Just saying, hey, here's some new work I've made. I hope you're doing well. Please stay in touch. Something very short that's just like reminding them that I exist and here's some new work. I definitely expected it to be easier for me to just crush this email list and send it out really quickly, but it's not a mindless activity as much as I thought it was going to be, because you have to be very detail oriented. So in my template, I originally had the person's name and then a general paragraph that's the same for everyone. And then I would have their publishing house specific to the person I'm emailing, and then I would say their name again. And I did have a few instances recently where I forgot to change their name in both spots. So it's say like, hi Anna, blah, 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 Bart, I look forward to hearing from you. And I was like, oh, that's so embarrassing. And if I was just sending like a personal or professional email to one person, I would be a lot more concerned about that and feel really bad because it is a little offensive. So yeah, that was really embarrassing, but you have to remember I had 90 other emails that went out that weren't messed up, and also the art directors that I messed up with are at Penguin, and someone from Penguin responded saying, hey, I like your work, whatever. So I'm still in there, but you know, if they get really offended by it and like put me on some blacklist, that's not really someone I would want to work with anyway. And when you're doing this all manually, it's bound to happen that you're going to make some errors. So I ended up just taking off that second time that I say their name just to eliminate that happening again. So definitely recommend, before I thought it was worth it to have that extra personalization, so maybe they think that I'm not just sending out mass emails to make them feel special or whatever, but I don't think it's worth the extra effort on my part, because now those people are probably definitely gonna say no, whereas maybe if I had sent them the more general email without customizing it a second time to their name, they would have at least looked at my work, even if they thought it was a mass email. Does that make sense? So that's my thought going forward. From here, I'm going to finish my list that already exists. And then I think for the next round, after I've taken a break and made some new work, I'm going to focus on agents. So up until this point, I've really been focusing on art directors just because I don't necessarily think I need an agent to take care of the single job that might come my way. I think I can figure out the contract and all of that at least once. But since I'm not sure if I'm gonna get a response from art directors anytime soon, I am gonna start focusing specifically on agents in the next round, just to see what kind of responses I get. I did have a few on my list just from hearing about their agency in a podcast or a similar resource. And I actually did get one rejection. And it was a really nice rejection. And actually they sent through an entire email on and it wasn't individual to me. This is just, I think, a template they send out with their rejection letters. But it basically outlined everything you need to have a good illustration portfolio, and it was very detailed. So I will see if I can paste that somewhere or something, because I thought it was super helpful, and it made me realize I really need to focus on working on characters, specifically like humans, this year. I like drawing humans, but it definitely does not come as naturally because our proportions are just so hard to make consistent, and they're not as cute as animals. So, but they're fun. Like, I will have fun. It's just more of a struggle for me, but gotta work on all of the weak points, and I don't think you can make children's books without knowing how to draw kids, unless you're just so good at drawing monsters or animals or whatever that you only need to get hired for that. Anyway, I think I'm kind of over whatever little burnout I had at the beginning of the year for drawing. I took a break and really focused on 3D just for my job and fun personal projects, and I've been doing a lot with that, but I'm back in the mood of wanting to make illustrations and updating my website, because I was already looking at my portfolio that I literally finished in January, and I'm already like, ugh, I'm kind of tired of all this work. So back to the grind, you know? Well, I hope this was helpful and gave you kind of a realistic picture of what this process looks like. It's really slow. Not a lot of reward right now, but hopefully it'll pay off. And let me know if you guys have any questions or what you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching. Bye!